This is what you're seeing is actually a guy straight from YouTube who's using some programming libraries from Google to get this to work. So I duplicated what he created, and this is what he's got. This is actually just stage one. Stage two. Stage two. Give it a moment to start up. It'll get there. Stage two is actually a little bit more extensive. What you're looking at here is a volume control. It is what we're doing is we're using fingers to create volume control. As a matter of fact, let me bring up the actual volume controller, and you can see that when I move my fingers, oops, what's going on? No, that's where I want it. There we go. When I move my fingers, you see that the volume actually changes. And this stage two here actually has an on-off switch. So the as you can see, the index and the thumb is actually moving the volume. It's actually moving and being measured, but you're using the little finger to actually turn on and off whether or not you're actually controlling the volume, which is really cool. So this is actually straight from a guy, pretty ingenious guy actually, who's on YouTube, and so I copied his stuff, and this is part of where I want to go. This is actually just part of what I want to do. What I actually want to do is I actually want to go a step further. Now, I actually want to just limit the input of the hand to only the only the thumb and forefinger, because what I intend to do is I intend to actually go a step further. What I intend to do is I want to use the thumb and forefinger as a controlling device. All right, when it comes up, a controlling device for moving the window itself or moving an on screen calculator. So my aim is to use my fingers, and when I come together and pinch, I use that as a mouse click, a virtual mouse click. So what I want to do with that virtual mouse click is I want to theoretically, the idea is that once I've clicked the mouse, I click and hold. What it does is I then can move the actual window itself. So theoretically, I'm going to use my mouse and generate. I would be able to do this, move the window itself, and then when I release my fingers, it becomes, it stays, goes in stationary again. That, I think that would suffice for what it is that you have in mind for some kind of a on-screen thing for some on-screen control that people can interact with. That was idea number one. Idea number two is to actually have an on-screen calculator. So I would use my index finger and go beep 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 beep. 2 plus 2 equals on an on-screen calculator. So I'm actually punching my finger in the air. And I like both ideas. The movement, the pinch and move, that's going to be easier. I'm relatively certain that that's going to be easier. So that would probably be the first thing I do. And then the calculator would come second. And that's where I'm at. Now, there is something else that needs to be done. So those are the two next steps. pinch and hold and move the screen, and calculator, on-screen calculator. There is another step which is actually quite significant for your purpose. This is using the webcam on my computer, and that's two-dimensional, X, Y. What you need, or what would probably be best, is X, Y, Z. So depth. So the camera is also giving where I can also calculate the distance from the camera to the person, so that any person who's interacting has to stand within a particular spot or be at a particular distance from the actual camera itself for it to work. That's that's the third. That's another step, depth. So going from a 2D camera to a 3D camera. Um, yeah, it's a thing. It's possible. It's just something that I'd have to work on over December, so while I'm on a break. Oh yeah, I went back to school. I'm doing a master's program, so that's why I've been busy. Right, that's it for now. So next steps. So you've seen this. Next steps would be the pinch and move, the calculator, and the 3D camera. All right.